When people think of Aston Martin, they think of elegance, luxury, and James Bond. But what if I told you that in the 1990s, Aston Martin secretly built one of the most insane supercharged cars in the world? A car so powerful, so wild, that it completely broke the brand's quiet luxury image. This is the story of the Aston Martin Vantage V550, a twin supercharged monster that many enthusiasts still don't know exists. To understand the V550, you have to understand Aston Martin in the early 1990s. The company had always been known for beautiful, grand touring cars, elegant machines designed to cross continents in style. But behind the glamour, Aston Martin had serious problems. Production numbers were small, financial stability was shaky, and the company struggled to compete with bigger brands. That's when something unexpected happened. In 1987, Aston Martin was acquired by Ford Motor Company, and suddenly, the small British brand had access to big money and big engineering. Ford didn't just want Aston Martin to survive, they wanted it to become dangerous. In the early 1990s, Aston Martin decided to revive one of its most iconic platforms, the V8 Vantage. The goal was simple: build a car that could compete with the fastest machines in the world: Ferrari, Porsche, Lamborghini. But Aston Martin wasn't going to build just another luxury GT. They wanted something outrageous, something brutal, something that would prove Aston Martin could still build a monster. That monster would become the Vantage V550. At the heart of the V550 sat a massive 5.3-liter V8 engine. But Aston Martin didn't stop there. They added two superchargers. Yes, twin superchargers. In the early 1990s, this was almost unheard of in a production road car. The result? Around 550 horsepower. At a time when most supercars barely crossed the 400 horsepower mark, and the torque numbers were just as insane. Over 550 pound-feet of torque. That kind of power turned the V550 into a true supercar killer. Here's the crazy part. The V550 was not a lightweight sports car. It was huge, heavy, and built like a luxury tank. Yet despite its weight, it could launch from 0 to 60 miles per hour in around 4 seconds. Its top speed? Over 190 miles per hour. That made it one of the fastest production cars in the world at the time. And because of its brutal power delivery, journalists nicknamed it the British muscle car. But the V550 wasn't just about power. Like every Aston Martin of that era, it was hand-built. Each car was carefully assembled by craftsmen in England. The interior featured hand-stitched leather, wood trim, classic analog gauges. From the outside, it looked elegant, almost calm. But under the hood, it was pure chaos. Just when people thought Aston Martin had gone far enough, they pushed things even further. A few years later, the company released an upgraded version known as the Aston Martin V600 Le Mans. This version produced an unbelievable 600 horsepower. At the time, that made it one of the most powerful production cars in the world. And because production numbers were tiny, these cars became instant legends. Despite its insane performance, the V550 remains one of the most overlooked supercars ever made. Why? Because the 1990s were filled with iconic machines. Cars like the McLaren F1, Ferrari F50, Porsche 959. Compared to those futuristic supercars, the V550 looked almost old school. Its design was classic, traditional, and maybe even understated. But that understated design hid one of the wildest powertrains of its time. Today, collectors are finally realizing how special the V550 really is. It represents a unique moment in Aston Martin's history, a time when luxury collided with brute force, when engineers decided elegance wasn't enough and built something truly outrageous. With extremely low production numbers, surviving V550 cars are now incredibly desirable, and prices continue to climb. But here's the part most people still don't know. The V550 wasn't just a crazy experiment. It actually helped shape the future of Aston Martin's performance division. Without it, cars like the modern V12 Vantage might never have existed. But the real question is this: if Aston Martin had continued pushing the twin supercharged formula, could they have built an even more powerful monster in the 1990s? And could that car have changed the supercar world completely? That's a story almost nobody talks about, yet.